Hi folks, this is Chris Voss from thechrisvossshow.com, thechrisvossshow.com. I want to talk to you here about a blog post, and I don't want to say bad things or discourage anyone from getting involved with multi-level marketing or other projects or campaigns, but I do want to speak to it. For 20 years, a large part of our business was done in the state of Utah, and Utah is the progenitor for a lot of MLM startups. Thereby, I got a lot of experience at dealing with people in multi-level marketing, dealing with people in our lives, et cetera, et cetera. At one point, we actually had to create a policy for our company that if you solicited people within the company to join an MLM, we would thereby fire you. It was so bad in the state of Utah as to people promoting their things. We'd have people that would quit perfectly paying jobs, come back 2 or 3 months later broke, begging for their jobs back, and we just got tired of it. We also got tired of fist fights in the parking lot between women, actually, sometimes over multi-level marketing and one person trying to recruit another, et cetera, et cetera. So it was pretty weird that we actually had to combat the different issues with multi-level marketing, and of course being in Utah, I mean, you're just pressed upon at every corner by multi-level marketers. The other thing that brings some pretty good experience to me in this field is from a very early age, I attended with my father Amway meetings, and I mean, he's joined Amway on and off so many times. I think they just made him an honorary member. He's joined probably hundreds of multi-level marketing things throughout his years and his time, and for most of his life, I watched him really not do well financially and suffer because of it. One of the rules I have, and this is what I want to share with you, is if I don't own it, I don't control it, I don't do it. Okay? Let me repeat that to you. If I don't own it, if I don't control it, I don't do it. Okay. Now, I have invested in the stock market. I've done day trading and done that. So that's probably one of the business facets that I have done where I don't own and control it. But I have some sort of semblance of control to a certain degree of my money and what I'm doing. Multi-level marketing is usually built around the premise of if the 3 to 5 person rule. The average person that you recruit for multi-level marketing is only going to bring in 3 to 5 family, friends, neighbors, relatives, that sort of thing. And after that, they pretty much go dead. So you really have to find someone who's really good at multi-level marketing. But here's the other kicker. My dad used to be in life insurance too, and he would work really hard to sell these life insurance policies so that he could get the residual income. That's all he would talk about, was the residual income he'd get from the life insurance policies. And what was funny was every time that these companies would merge, or one would go out of business, or one would be taken over by another, they would wipe out the old contracts. And it just seemed like a constant chase for him to be paid his residuals, and them constantly wiping out his residuals. So it ended up being really bad. The other experience that he's found in multi-level marketing is that once he starts making good money, the company changes the rules. And I mean, lately, over the past few years, he's made incredible money in multi-level marketing. But the problem is every 2 to 3 years, once everyone starts making a lot of money, the company changes the rules. Of course, no one's making money anymore, and they go down the pike and they go find a new MLM to join. So this is one of the reasons that I don't get involved with MLM. You can't get me to join an MLM. You can't get me to get involved with multi-level marketing. I think it's a great concept, and I do believe there's people that do make exceptional money, but for the most part, they're that 3 to 5 person fodder. You're the machine people that, give a referral to your neighbors, and you hope that this is an additional thing. What I would impart to you, well, let me cover this. The reason I say if you don't own it, if you don't control it, you can't make the rules. So the rules are pressed upon you. So that's what multi-level marketing, life insurance, if you're working for another company, the rules are pressed upon you. You don't make the rules. You are not the king. So this is why I always start my own companies, why I'm a serial entrepreneur. And my reasoning is if I don't control it, if I don't own it, I don't do it. If you think about the time, I have a few of my friends that are multi-level marketing, and I see the amount of time that they put in to build multi-level marketing and still not make a lot of money in it. If they were to exercise that same amount of time to their own companies, their own projects, their own things they can control, they would be much more successful. I mean, the people I see in MLM, they're having to deal with the company's policies, the company's limited advertising, sometimes rules. just rules that are sometimes crazy that they have no control over, and it limits their income. So that's my policy. If I don't own it and control it, I just don't do it. A few years ago, I was tapped by some investors from China to take and build a corporation for them. I built one of the fastest growing corporations of its industry within the state of Nevada. There was a lot of promises that were made, a lot of, once we do this, we'll make you a part of the team. The more successful we got, the money on the table, the more the rules changed. And one of the problems with being a serial entrepreneur is you're pretty successful at just building business models and getting them going well. It's just something you do in your sleep after 20 years. So I suppose I show most people that it's a whole lot, it's too easy, if you will, because I've had a number of partners that have left me and failed at business, and I'm just like, how did you hang out with me all this time and fail at business? So what was interesting was within a short time after I left, the company collapsed and went belly up. And I left because I realized that they were not going to follow through on their promises, and they weren't going to give me control. And it was a nice diversion for me at the time. I needed a break from doing all my stuff, and it's great to play with other people's money sometimes. But for the most part, if you don't own it, if you don't control it, it's usually not worth your time and money. And the best thing to do is to make sure you invest that time and money into something that you own. For the amount of time and work that you put into some of these multi-level marketers, I've seen people put into multi-level marketing, it's crazy. My dad must have joined maybe 200 to 300 multi-level marketing companies over his lifetime. I mean, there was one point every 2 weeks he was involved in a new one. And they're always changing the rules on what he would get out. I put a link below this video to a thing that talks about people that actually could have been billionaires if they would have done their own thing with products and what they invented and what they did. So I'll leave that link to you too, and it's an example where people didn't get the patents right, or the people invented stuff while working for someone else, and unfortunately they didn't have the wherewithal to go out and maybe do their own company, which a lot of people do, including Bill Gates. I mean, IBM paid and funded for a lot of stuff to create Microsoft, and Microsoft went out and did their own thing. So I would suggest to you that when you take a look at multi-level marketing, that it's not bad, or that working for someone else isn't bad. There's nothing wrong with it, but I would really question your ability to make money. The great thing about owning your own company is you've heard me say this before, you make the tit. You basically make you make the cow that puts out the milk. You're not sitting waiting for the milk to hopefully put out from the cow. You make the cow. And the great thing is you can control it, you can live by your rules for the most part, and you can adjust things and make things work. And you don't have someone over you going, you can't do it this way. And that's the great thing about being an entrepreneur. So I would encourage you, if you're involved with multi-level marketing or other things, if you're not making money, look at the time you're putting into it and say, maybe we'd better serve to get my own product and sell it. Anyway, thanks for coming by the Chris Voss Show.com. I want to share that concept with you. If you don't own it, you don't control it, don't do it. The one thing I did want to addendum to this, and this is one of the reasons we do these video things, is because I remember a lot of stuff that comes through here. The other point that I want to take and make, I've seen people get involved with businesses. They put a lot of time and effort into them, but they're not on the corporate sheet. They're not a shareholder. They're not a part of the company. If you're not a shareholder, you're not a part of the company, I wouldn't waste your time doing it either. I've seen so many people get scammed that way, where they do work for a company and the company moves on. And you'll see that in the article that's below this video. Thanks for coming by the ChrisVossShow.com.